Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks. Today we've got something a little bit different for you. We've got the number 2 dual player, at least currently, as of recording this video, the number 2 on the leaderboards for the 1v1 category, Pro Randy. Whoa, 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 whoa. Pro Randy, a very, very high ranked player. And well, yeah, number 2 on the leaderboard as far as this video is concerned when I recorded this, and that means that they are very, very comfortable in the 1v1 theater, the theater of a great duel between gladius combatants. So I'm excited to study what happens here. Spawning in the northwestern corner, the number 1 on the free-for-all ladder, we have Big Dolfy. Big Dolfy, a player renowned for their hilarious strategies, their wonderful plays, and their great content. Big Dolfy, certainly going to bring something out, and in my opinion, FFA is very similar to free-for-all in the sense that you can kind of think of free-for-all like a big series of 1v1s. It's like a 1v1, but with politics, even though it looks like they have a little bit of politics going on in the game here, trying to convince each other to take it easy, lest they hurt each other's feelings. I can relate to that. Sometimes my feelings get hurt too when I get crushed by the Dolphy, but certainly Randy is going to be able to hold up. By the way, you can see 46 true skill versus 55. This is a clash of the titans. So I am thrilled to see what goes on here. Both of these are going to be Cortex commanders, and both have gone for vehicles. I really don't think there's any other way to go here on Comet Catcher, where there is 1 to 4 wind speed, meaning that basically there's no reason to go for wind. You have to go for solar panels. And vehicles are pretty much the most common thing that we see in this game. There's always something to there's always a reason to go vehicles on Comet Catcher. If it's not the fact that it's big, open, flat terrain, it's the fact that you're going to be able to hold certain areas a whole lot easier when your units are a lot tankier. If it's not the fact that your units are going to do a lot more damage, it's just everything. Vehicles just really make a whole lot more sense here. If you're going for bots, you basically have to plan to win with some sort of early cheese. Like, you need to get a ton of grunts out on the field and hide them somewhere, and then surprise the other player with a surprise run by or something of that nature. You really have to commit a tremendous amount of resources in order to make bots work, and you have to do it really quickly. And if you fall behind, you're going to either have to transition to vehicles and play from behind, or you're going to be playing a losing game for the next 30 minutes. It's a rough one, and so vehicles just makes a whole lot more sense. It's sort of the steady, the standard, the stable, and it's what we've come to expect. This is pretty nice. We do see some rascals here doing a little bit of damage. Ooh, we will get the metal extractor. That's nice. Even a single metal extractor at this point in the game can be a really nice pick here. Bit ambitious to go after that constructor here. I think that definitely won't happen. But at the very least, these rascals have scouted out exactly where Dolphy's at, and how he's going to be playing, how things are going to be going. There's an interesting comparison to make between StarCraft 2 and Beyond All Reason, in the sense that in Beyond All Reason, assuming you don't limit the spawn boxes, you kind of don't know where the enemy is going to spawn, whereas in StarCraft 2, you know exactly where the enemy is. And so, when you're sending your first scouts across the map, you know exactly where to send them and what to check for and that sort of thing. All the timings are very figured out. And Beyond All Reason, it's a little bit different. There's not so much timings as there is like general overarching strategies. Like, you see vehicle bays, you see that sort of thing. So barring name drop, no pun intended, barring that you don't you don't force each other to spawn in very specific parts of the map, which they very well might have. It does kind of look like they've spawned in perfect opposites of the map. But yeah, I mean, assuming you don't do that, assuming that it's a map spawn where it's like the boxes like this, which we usually see. Yeah, that's one of the interesting comparisons, is you have to scout and you have to be a little bit more proactive about your scouting. Otherwise, yeah, things just don't really work out the same. Timings don't really make sense. You're kind of always looking for what you can see. Yeah, we might get a metal extractor here. Nope, we're gonna run past it. Too much heat on our tails here, and eventually that rascal will go down. Nice little pick there. Who's going to start producing blitzes first? Looks like Dolphy is... Yeah, it looks like Dolphy's going to make the first... Incisor, rather, sorry. Oh, there was one over here, actually. Maybe it was Pro Randy. Not sure exactly at the moment, but you can see the comparisons up here on the top. You can see 40 units to 41 units with 13 Army for Dolphy versus 8 Army for Pro Randy. You can also see in the top right here, it is pretty small. I'll try and figure out if there's a way to increase that size, actually. But you can see up here the economy readout. So you can see that Dolphy is now on 23 metal, 175 energy, whereas Randy is on 20 metal and 265 energy. So way more energy here for Randy as opposed to Dolphy. But we don't have a way to spend it. Oh, wait, no, sorry, that is actually inaccurate. Oh, lighter portion. Oh, I see. So this is this just shows the income values. It's not their current metal. Yeah, I was going to be surprised if we were overflowing metal. Yeah, that would be a bit odd. Anyway, some incisors blow apart a couple of rascals over here. Light work for those light laser tanks here, firing out of their thin little snozzle to destroy anything that they sneeze at here. Randy moving the commander forward fairly aggressively, but it is going to net him a nice little economy here, as we are up to 32 metal per second, which is going to allow him to start pumping out a massive amount of units every second. Incisors, more and more of them coming up here, doing their very best to try and protect the economy centers here. These incisors on the side of Big Dolphy are going to snipe. Oh, we had a little bit of laser tower self-destruct micro there, but it did go down before it could self-destruct. I was about to say that we have a nice little bit of micro here. Randy gets right up on top of his high horse to try and deal with some of those incisors there. He does degun one of them and repairs the metal extractor. Very nice to see. We're setting up laser towers all over the place, just making it inconvenient to be aggressive without a really, really proper scout. A rascal is still across the map here, thinking about moving in onto Big Dolphy from Pro Randy. But Dolphy is moving more and more units across. I do like that Dolphy has a bit of a composition out here. We are working on incisors as well as rascals. It's going to give him the ability to scout around very accurately and poke and prod at the defenses without having to move his entire army or even sections of his entire army in and out of position. It's very, very nice to see. That's definitely the mark of a very skilled player. We are, yeah, I was just wondering if we had a little bit of regeneration here. Somebody pointed out in a comment that was a part of the new feature, which I missed completely. I have yet to go look at it, but I don't think that's true. I think what we have is units that generate power will regenerate health as well. So constructors, commanders, and the like, resbots, that sort of thing. Maybe that's what they were talking about. That feature specifically was added. Wow, they're actually going after the same the same metal extractor spot here. That is interesting. Dolphy is going to be a little bit behind though. I think the radar vision does show that Randy is going to be over here. Yep. As soon as we get within range, we do find the Randmeister going to be building a laser turret here. Dolphy is going to be forced to deal with a couple of incisors that are doing a little damage here. Ooh, unfortunately misses the first degun. Does hit the second, meaning that this position will be lost. That's a lot of incisors lurking around here. Dolphy's commander is actually way out in the open here. Gets a radar up, radar tower up, and realizes right now he's in a terrible position. You know, as far as physically on the field goes. Yeah, he's got a lot of units moving around up north. He's got a lot of stuff weighing on top of him here. Randy is being sure to secure this, and from Dolphy's perspective, this must look like a really, really split map. Incisors are cleaning up some of these rascals that were sent on over to this side as sort of a scouting unit here. Do like to see that. I think that's very nicely done. These incisors up north, meanwhile, have been a constant threat, although a lot of them are scuffed up pretty badly. Wouldn't mind seeing either of these players go for a bot lab here just to build some res bots. It'd be a bit of an upfront investment, but at least for the moment, I think we could probably afford it. Yeah, Dolphy's going to be forced to turtle up here because he doesn't have the units for support. There are units in the backline here. We even have a riot tank in order to deal with some of those some of those big spams of units. But that riot tank really gets its value when those units are clumped up. And with players as good as Randy and Dolphy, I'd be surprised if we're going to see really bad engagements taken here. Sometimes it happens. You know, you right click one too many times, and eventually your units kind of ball up together. But you can see when Randy is controlling these units here. You can see he's always dragging them into a line, always making sure that they're spaced out. So it's going to be really difficult for Dolphy to get a perfect, effective use out of that riot tank over here. A little bit of run by as some of these laser tanks try to push through here, but it looks like these towers will hold. Now this is a much better catch here. We do catch some of these constructors, and they are without defenses, and that means that these constructors down south are going to be taken down. This is actually a way bigger catch than it seems, because it means that this entire southern lane is going to be opened up because there's no constructors over here. Dolphy went for the air lab in order to build some of those shuriken. That's a very nice play. That's difficult to deal with. You're gonna have to build missile trucks or go into an air lab of your own if you want to deal with that. Missile trucks are fine, but they're very slow, so it's hard to get them into position. Oh, looks like Dolphy is going in for the paralyzation, though, as a lot of these turrets get stunned currently. That's gonna let these laser tanks roll on through. Randy, with a beautiful D-gun right there, takes out a huge amount of these tanks. Dolphy decides to start stepping forward. Might be a little bit too aggressive here, decides to initiate the engagement, but Dolphy way too aggressive as the commander gets jumped on by a bunch of these medium tanks. Pro Randy does manage to snatch the victory in a explosive engagement right there in the middle of the map. Wow. Things went from bad to worse. Dolphy was really hoping that those shurikens could paralyze enough of this army to leave Randy exposed, but because of the pathing on those incisor there, Randy was able to get a beautiful D-gun, a couple of beautiful D-guns, and snatch the victory out of thin air. Very nicely done from these two pros. Love to watch these two butt heads. You can see Dolphy starting to plateau here as he just start building forces rather, instead of working on anything else here. And that eventually, with proper positioning and excellent micro, led Pro Randy to win. I guess that's why he's so high up on the duel leaderboards. Anyway, thank you a ton for coming and watching with me. This has been a really fun look. Love watching these 1v1s. Not my particular area of expertise, but I can't resist whenever I find a good one. Anyway, thanks a ton, and I will see you in the next video.